evening and a very warm welcome to the Spreadex World Grand Prix here at the Morningside Arena in Leicester! This is our second semi-final. It's the best of 11 frames, and it's time now to welcome the players. We begin with China's greatest ever player with 14 ranking titles. He's a three-time UK champion. Enter the Dragon, Ding Junhui! And his opponent, the most successful player in the history of the sport, with a record 40 ranking event wins and 23 Triple Crown titles. He's the Rocket, R.O'Sullivan!
A pretty raucous crowd here at the Morningside Arena in Leicester in readiness for what should be a cracking match, as Ding Junhui and R.O'Sullivan renew their rivalry.
Thank you, ladies
friendly
and gentlemen.
one.
Thank you. The first frame. Ding Junhui.
And it must be said, overall, a one-sided one down the years in favour of O'Sullivan. This is their 27th meeting, and O'Sullivan has won 21 of them, although Ding has scored notable victories over O'Sullivan. The Northern Ireland Trophy back in 2006 in the final, the World Championship in 2017 in the quarterfinals at the Crucible, and twice at the UK Championship. So when Ding has got the better of O'Sullivan, he's done it on the big stage. But the now 8 times UK and Masters champion, along with his 7 world titles, has much more often than not prevailed. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Ding can avenge the 2 losses he's experienced at the hands of O'Sullivan this season. Of course, the final of the UK Championship before Christmas, when he pushed O'Sullivan to 7-all before the eventual champion moved to a 10-7 win. And then, of course, just last week at the Masters, when Ding made a brilliant 147, his second in the history of that event, but lost 6-3. He just shaved the red before hitting the pink there. Jan Verhaas, our referee. R.O'Sullivan is going for his 13th consecutive win this evening. He hasn't lost since Zhang Anda got the better of him in the semi-finals of the International Championship in Tianjin. And Zhang was Ding Junhui's victim in the quarterfinals by 5 frames to 2. R.O'Sullivan got the better of Gary Wilson 5-1, having lost the opening frame on the black. Needed a deciding frame to get the better of Zhou Yulong in the previous round. Pang Jungzhu was his first round victim, 4 frames to 2. Here's a chance. Terrific cueing. He actually got on the cue ball there. Twice a champion in this tournament. Made the inaugural final when he lost to Judd Trump in 2015, when it was a non-ranking tournament. Nicely cued blue as well. So a sharp start from O'Sullivan, but then claimed the title at the expense of Ding back in 2018 in Preston, 10-3. And regained it in 2021 when he beat Neil Robertson 10-8 in Coventry.
7.
So going for a hat-trick this weekend. with the possibility of another mouth-watering showdown with Judd Trump, whom of course he beat to win his record-equaling 7th World Championship the season before last.
12.
Now in his 49th year, O'Sullivan, as he's pointed out in recent times, he's had issues with his arm, with his leg, and he reckons his eyes are going. So when you factor all those things in, it's pretty remarkable what he's continuing to achieve in the game, setting new records. And he remains the man they all have to beat when he's at his best. Never fun using the extended spider. But he's negotiated that awkward shot nicely. Top side of the blue. Packed crowd.
13.
Inevitably for this second semi-final. Trump, of course, having come through last night at the expense of Chow Yupeng by 6 frames to 2. And he said afterwards he'd be watching this. Looking forward to seeing who he will play. Trump going for his 4th title here at the World Grand Prix this weekend.
18. 19. 25. 26. 32. 33. 39. 40.
O'Sullivan very quickly into his stride. Excellent long red to get in, an equally good blue. Again, cueing is awkward and on the stretch. Thinnish cut. No problem though. And in the process, developing another red, so
47.
picking up where he left off against Gary Wilson. He said
48.
afterwards that he felt he'd been a bit lucky against Wilson insofar as that he had the running of the ball, the odd nudge here and there, which helps. And he did benefit from a quite substantial fluke early in the match, but
55.
once again, it was an impressive, polished performance from O'Sullivan. We've seen a lot of that of late.
56.
Even though he's been quite disparaging about his cue action, the way he's hitting the ball. Quite often you can take all of that with a pinch of salt. The results speak for themselves. And Ding Junhui doesn't look as though he's going to get a look in this opening frame.
63.
So just this black. And Ding will need a snooker. And it's the speed at which he does his damage, very much like Judd Trump,
70.
that can be so intimidating. Wonderful cue
71.
ball control. Ding knows a thing or two about that, but just the pace of O'Sullivan, he's so instinctive. That cue ball always seems to be where it should be. And that enables him to play at this remarkable pace without appearing
79.
to be rushing.
86. 87.
'Is he going to start
93.
with a century? Looks highly likely.
94.
He's already made more this season than he did last. And when you consider he's missed 5 ranking events this season, as well as the defence of his Champion of Champions title, there's the roar from the crowd. His 35th of the campaign, 2 more than last season combined. And the 1200th and 37th of his career. Hard to say, hard to believe. Extraordinary statistics.
108. 110.
What a start. A statement of intent from O'Sullivan against a player whom he regards very highly. Tremendous mutual respect between this pair, as we heard ahead of the match, but when the business gets underway, O'Sullivan usually shows no mercy.
117.
And this has been a superb opening from him. He can't, of course, beat the highest break of the tournament, a 145 total clearance from Sean Murphy against John Higgins.
128.
But this has been a special start from the Rocket. Wow, what a break, what an opening to the second semi-final here in Leicester. A 135 total clearance from Ronnie O'Sullivan in the blink of an eye as he leads Ding Junhui here in the last 4 in Leicester by 1-0. What a start to the evening's entertainment. A quite brilliant 135 total clearance from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Second frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan
to throw down the gauntlet. Ding Junhui, I'm sure, already was well aware of the scale of his task this evening. That's been amplified by the start O'Sullivan has made in this their 27th meeting. O'Sullivan leads the head-to-head 21-5, including 2 victories this season, most notably the final of the UK Championship 10-7, the Masters 6-3 just last week at Ali Pali. Ding's last victory over O'Sullivan was a resounding one. The UK Championship 2022, 6-0 in the quarterfinals. And there's no doubt that Ding Junhui has seen a significant upturn in his form of late. If you think that before that 2022 UK Championship, he'd fallen down to 38th in the world, Ding, scarcely believable. So had to qualify for that event, went on to get to the final where he led Mark Allen 6-1, lost 10-7. There's Jan Verhaas watching on. He didn't appear in a single ranking semi-final in either 2020 or 2021, but has now reached 5 in the last 22 months. So that represents significant progress after a bit of a slump in his game. That said, he hasn't won a ranking title since he won his 3rd UK back in 2019. So that is something that he'll certainly want to put right, but he's going to have to do it the hard way. Ronnie O'Sullivan in the semis, Judd Trump in the final. Yeah, he's been lucky there for sure. Having missed the red, could easily have left an easy starter for Ding in the event. He's left nothing. aside from that victory over Zhang Anda. Ding has beaten
one.
Yes, aside from that victory over Zhang Anda, 5-2 in the last 8. Ding came through a decider in his first match against Ricky Walden, and then beat Noppon Sankam, the Scottish Open finalist this season, in the last 16, 4-1. He's been in good form. That victory over Zhang would have been a pleasing one for him, because of course Zhang Anda beat him on his way to winning the International Championship. And that actually pushed Ding Junhui out of the top 16, which meant that once again this season he had to qualify for the UK Championship. And once again, having had to qualify, he made the final. The only time he's made the world final, he had to come through qualifying, so it's never something that's fazed him. That's a nice blue. Test of his straight cueing.
6.
But look at that. Very awkward on the reds on the left-hand side of the table. So a bit unfortunate there.
Okay.
End of break. Disappointingly early from
6.
Ding's point of view. Decent safety. Arrived at this event in 6th place on the one-year list, thanks mainly to the 100,000 points he got from making the UK final. It's a tournament that, regardless of his form, seems to bring out the best in him. 3 times a winner of that very illustrious event. This man, of course, now a record 8 times winner. Oh, terrific pot. Excellent pot from Ding. Now, how's his luck?
1.
Not on the black, but he can get to the blue. Vital that he makes a good start this evening, and that's a good pot. There was pressure on that, knowing if he missed, he was leaving O'Sullivan back in, but again,
6.
his cueing passes the test. So can he hit straight back in this second frame after sitting out the first of that brilliant century?
7.
He's already made 30 centuries this season, which is 2 more than he managed in the whole of the last campaign.
13.
And the UK Championship run to the final was kind of the exception to the rule for Ding last season. Nothing better than the last 16, apart from the semi-finals of the Tour Championship. He did win the 6 Reds World Championship, but lost in the first round of the World Championship at the Crucible to Hossein Vafai, who of course went on to be blitzed by O'Sullivan in the second round. He's got
14.
the red, but position's no good. So a couple of scoring chances for Ding. Just 20 points to show for them so far. This is a tester. If he's taking on the pink, this has got to go. Beautifully played, and O'Sullivan had the perfect view of that. Once again, risk attached, missable with the rest, but he's got it. Clearly, Ding has to be positive this evening if he's to have a chance of springing a surprise, and it would be an upset of sorts, even allowing for Ding's caliber given their head-to-head.
21.
He's a former runner-up in this event, too, O'Sullivan, as mentioned, in Preston back in 2018. Hoping to land a 15th ranking title this weekend. But a little grimace
28.
there because, again, position is not ideal. He's had to work hard to keep this break going already. Still only 34 in front, so plenty of work to do.
Thank you. 29. $31. $32. $38.
Whatever happens this evening, it's hard to imagine this isn't going to be an open attacking game throughout. Two of the finest break builders the game has ever seen. Once again, Ding having to work exceptionally hard, though, to keep this break going. He's never quite been able to get a tight rein on the cue ball, which is unlike him. But he's been able to pull out the necessary recovery pots. This is another one that requires good cueing. And it's gone wrong.
46.
So the lead 52. Does this red go past the pink? Apparently it does. Plenty of room. Another tester, though. This really has been a fine break. He's had to work extremely hard to maintain it. Still 75 on the table, albeit that a number of reds are awkward. Oh, that's a lovely shot. That should be the frame winner. And this is a very impressive response from Ding. Sat out that superb
53.
century clearance from O'Sullivan in the opening frame, but this has been exactly the response required. a very well-engineered break, because it has not
54.
been plain sailing by any stretch. But he's kept it going. And he's now this black and one red away from 1-all. O'Sullivan's
61.
turn to occupy his chair for a while.
62.
The crowd acknowledging that was the key ball. I don't think O'Sullivan will be coming back. And it's been one of the best breaks you'll see
69.
this, because of the difficulty in a number of shots that he's managed to overcome.
70.
Tested a few times from distance. But he looks confident, Ding, not fazed by that opening salvo from O'Sullivan.
77.
And it must help, even though the overall head-to-head is very much in favour of his opponent, that he has beaten him
70.
in big matches at the World Championship, the UK Championship, a major final. So he knows what it takes. It's just a question of delivering this evening if he can. Didn't quite get the cannon.
85.
He deserved a century. That was a sparkling break from Ding. Classy, because it was not easy by any stretch. But he kept it going all the way to the winning line as he levels up in style here in Leicester. Battle joined. What a match we have in store tonight. It's one frame all. A great night to have a ticket here in Leicester. What a match, and what a standard we've seen already.
Thank you.
A 135 total clearance from O'Sullivan. And an equally impressive 85 from Ding to level at 1-all. 6 is the target. Judd Trump awaits the winner in the title match tomorrow. Frame 3. What can you say? Just wonderful cueing again. It looks as though he's going to be on the brown. We'll find out in a moment, but that is another brilliant long red from O'Sullivan. Oh, well, actually, the cue ball has run on. So he's been unlucky there. He deserved better from that red. Very difficult cueing this. Just the safety.
Ronnie O'Sullivan won.
Appearing in his 63rd, or rather his 91st ranking semi-final. He's going for his 63rd final appearance, O'Sullivan, and a 41st ranking title. Extraordinary statistics, aren't they? And he just keeps embellishing his CV. Now in his late 40s. 91 ranking semi-finals. Now the youngest and the oldest winners of both the UK and the Masters. The oldest winner of the World Championship. And he's at it again. And in my opinion, his long game has never been better than it is right now. So those eyes, which he claims are beginning to fail him, seem to be working pretty well at the moment.
Six. 7.
He wasn't sure whether that was going to stay above ground, but it's dropped.
14. 15.
Again, concern for a moment, but the break continues.
$22.
As mentioned, all the more remarkable that O'Sullivan is doing what he's doing, given that he has missed a lot of snooker this season. Yes, he's won 3 tournaments, including, yet again, the Shanghai Masters, back on the circuit this season, of course, after the hiatus because
28.
of COVID.
29.
But 5 ranking events he's withdrawn from, as well as the Champion of Champions, which he won last season, beating Judd Trump in the final. Very
36.
much in a position that he can pick and choose his tournaments when you consider what he's
37.
missed. The fact that he's second on the one-year list behind Trump. But of course, winning the UK won him $250,000 points as well as pounds, so
44.
puts him in a very strong position to keep himself fresh and sharp. And look at that, 14 seconds a shot, but no sense of him rushing. It's all very controlled and measured. And this already looks like a foregone conclusion for 2-1.
52.
Another couple of outstanding long pots from O'Sullivan at the start of this frame.
53.
Didn't get position off his first red, but certainly did off his second. And this is the result. He's now won 4 Shanghai Masters
60.
titles in a row, and his victory over Luca Brissell in the title match this season was his 5th in all
61.
in that event. Of course, he loves playing in China, and they love watching him play out there.
$68.
Frame's already gone for Ding, but the standard
69.
is sky high tonight from both. Wonderful snooker. Every chance this could be a second
76.
century for O'Sullivan.
77. $84. 85. $92. 93.
He's come further than he wanted with the century in mind. So recovery required positionally.
$98.
Beautiful. The crowd appreciated that one, and there'll be an even bigger roar if his next colour goes in. What a match. 3 quite brilliant frames, as good as you'll see. And a second century from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Snooker for the gods.
$106. 110. 115. 121.
A 135 total clearance in the opening frame. A 128 total, or not quite a total clearance, but a clearance nonetheless. In the second, 2 centuries for Ronnie O'Sullivan to take his season tally to 36, his career tally to 1,238. What a match this is proving to be. O'Sullivan back in front by 2 frames to 1. What an opening to our evening here in Leicester, the penultimate day of the World Grand Prix Snooker for the top 32 on the one-year list. Ronnie O'Sullivan, who sits second on that roster, despite missing 5 ranking tournaments this season, has made 2 centuries, including a total clearance to lead Ding Junhui, who made a brilliant 85 in his own right, 2 frames to 1. 6 are required for a place in the final, and that's an effective break-off for O'Sullivan in getting Ding snookered. It's possibly the only shot that O'Sullivan struggles with, the break. He'll tell you himself that it's not a shot that he's ever felt fully comfortable with, and he's experimented with different ones down the years, but that one has worked out for him. Oh, excellent shot though from Ding. And he's avoided the in-off. He didn't deserve that because he got the perfect contact on the red, acknowledged by O'Sullivan, who's just made a 128 break to go with the 135 total clearance. They've been royally entertained already this evening, and there's still plenty more to come. Frame 4 of a possible 11, albeit that they're flying by, as you would expect between this pair. And there's another terrific shot, and he's on the pink as well. O'Sullivan, at the moment, looking razor sharp. Certainly, this is his best snooker of the week, I would say, even though he's played some good stuff to get this far. Perhaps mindful that he would have to find an extra gear against Ding, and he certainly is at the moment.
7.
He's already had a fantastic season with 3 big titles.
Eight.
And of course, one of the few records that he doesn't own or share is winning all 3 Triple Crown titles in a single campaign. Only Steve Davis, Stephen Hendry, And Mark Williams have achieved that. But in winning the Masters last week, he's given himself a chance to add that to his already
15.
ridiculously good CV.
16. 23. 24. 31. 32. 39. 40.
'Even by Ronnie O'Sullivan
40.
standards, this is lightning snooker. Absolutely flying.
48.
Everything seems to be working for him positionally, bang on. The long potting is there again. Oh, but that one was not quite so good. It didn't mean to shave that red. Has he got
55.
the other one to the centre pocket? That's the first misstep, really, from O'Sullivan when he's been in the balls. But there you go, no problem.
56.
And already within a few pots of a 3-1 interval lead. We've only been playing for around 40 minutes.
63. 64. 71.
Frame ball.
72.
And Ding Junhui has played well this evening when he's had the chance. But he hasn't had many. And he's going to find himself 2 adrift at the interval. And how on earth do you compete
79.
with this? It's just too good. Well, he's missed that red, but
79.
barring a number of snookers, it's going to be 3-1. Maybe just took the red for granted. Ding needs 3 snookers to tie as things stand.
1.
Highly unlikely, but he'll hope for a free ball further down the line.
Eight. 9. 16.
O'Sullivan remains
17.
red-hot favourite to win this frame. He'll be a little annoyed that he missed when he was eyeing a 3rd century in 4 frames. But Ding needs 3 snookers.
24.
And he'll be hoping to lay a really effective one with his first attempt off this red.
25.
Well, he's not happy with the way he's potted that
32.
black. Can he get O'Sullivan in trouble here? In behind the black, he's overcooked it, I think, by a smidgen.
Ding Junhui, 32.
Might still be just about a snooker. He's got the red close to the brown, but O'Sullivan can swerve this. .47 the difference. 35 on. And that ends the frame for good and ends what has been a spectacular mini session in terms of the sheer quality of the snooker, most of it coming from the cue of the remarkable Ronnie O'Sullivan, who celebrated his 48th birthday just a handful of weeks ago and continues to play quite sublime snooker.
No.
Tony McCoy, legendary champion jockey, watching on, and I'm sure mighty impressed at what he's seeing. 135 total clearance to start with, 128 in the third, 79 in the fourth, and all done in a blur of speed. Ding Junhui with 85 of his own, but it's Ronnie O'Sullivan in charge at the midway point of the second semi-final here at the World Grand Prix. After some quite brilliant snooker from both of them, it's O'Sullivan who needs 3 more frames. He leads 3 frames to 1. Spectators retaking their seats then ahead of the resumption, with Ronnie O'Sullivan 3 frames away from the World Grand Prix final in a meeting with Judd Trump, who beat Chow Yupeng 6-2 last night. Ding Junhui, it bears repeating, has played exceptionally well when he's had the chance tonight, but he has had very few opportunities. O'Sullivan has monopolised the table in the 3 frames he's won with 2 centuries. And while we wait for the players to be reintroduced, we'll have a quick look at the draw and a reminder of how these players got to this last 4 encounter. For Ding Junhui, it was victory over Zhang Anda, the man who beat him at the International Championship and knocked him out of the top 16 in the process, which meant he had to qualify for the UK, which he duly did, and made the final, of course, losing to O'Sullivan 10-7. 5-2 win for Ding there. O'Sullivan beating Gary Wilson, the 2 times and reigning Scottish Open champion, 5-1. Judd Trump dominated Mark Selby to win by the same score, and then, of course, beat Chow Yupeng 6-2 after Chow had come through that battle with Mark Williams, one of the best wins of Chow's career, actually. 3-0 behind, 4-2 behind, but he produced an excellent 70-plus break in the decider. Judd Trump proved a little too strong for him, though, last night. So Trump to play either Ding or O'Sullivan, and at the moment it's O'Sullivan looking very much on course to play the juggernaut for the title tomorrow. And it would be a repeat of the very first World Grand Prix final back in 2015 when Trump got the better of O'Sullivan, when the tournament was a non-ranking event. It became ranking the following year when Shaun Murphy won it against Stuart Bingham. We've had 6 different venues for this tournament: Llandudno, Preston, Cheltenham, Milton Keynes, Coventry, and now, of course, Leicester. And in terms of the previous encounters between this pair, well, Ronnie O'Sullivan very much holding sway in that regard with 21 wins as against just 5 for Ding, albeit that Ding has beaten O'Sullivan on the biggest stages, twice at the UK Championship, including a 6-0 drubbing a couple of years ago, and the World Championship as well. But, well, O'Sullivan with 21 victories, that speaks for itself. And 2 of those, of course, have come this season. The Masters last week in the first round when Ding made a maximum in defeat, and the UK final before Christmas when O'Sullivan won by 10 frames to 7 after being pegged back to 7 each. And at the moment, it looks like being a hat-trick for O'Sullivan. Can he maintain the stellar standards he's produced thus far? If he can, then Ding will have very little chance, but there's no guarantee that he'll play as well as he has in the second half, and Ding's got to be ready to take advantage of any mistakes that may
Would you please welcome
come
back
his
to the
way.
table your referee Jan Verhaas and your semi-finalists Ding Junhui and Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, more of the same, please. It's been quite brilliant so far. And this crowd, I'm sure, very much looking forward to the second half of this match to see who will play Judd Trump tomorrow over the best of 19 frames for the title.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 5, Ding Junhui to Prix.
Ding Junhui getting us back underway here in our second World Grand Prix snooker semi-final. 3-1 behind. He's done very little wrong, and the frame he did win, he won handsomely with a break of 85, but Ronnie O'Sullivan has been magnificent so far. 2 centuries, including a 135 total clearance, and a further run of 79 to lead by 2 going into the second half of this match.
One. Four. Thank you. 5.
So O'Sullivan missing a long red to give Ding this early chance to stay in touch in this match. And I'm sure he would have been telling himself during the interval, well, I've done nothing wrong. In fact, I've played well when I've had the opportunity. It's not as though Ding has been missing chances when he's been in. It's just been
12.
O'Sullivan freezing him out with his own excellence. So there's still a long way to go in this match, potentially.
$13. 90.
In their UK final meeting this season, Ding was 4-1 behind in the
20.
first session and fought back superbly to 4 each, and then led 5-4. Then found himself 7-5 behind, but pulled back again to 7-all before O'Sullivan pulled away at the end with some superb snooker, 2 centuries and a break of 74,
27.
finishing the match with a 1-2-9 break for his 8th title. But it was a very high-quality final, and Ding certainly asked the question of O'Sullivan. He delivered
28.
once again when the pressure was at its greatest.
Pink.
Pink nominated. Oh dear. Maybe just took his eye off the pot, thinking more about the cannon, and he has left a red for O'Sullivan.
One. Six.
O'Sullivan appearing in his 91st ranking semi-final, hoping for his 63rd final
7.
and a 41st title.
Twelve. Eighteen. 19. $24. $25.
Another terrific shot from O'Sullivan. And this has got to be, in terms of the quality of his snooker, the performance of the season from him. Okay, this is only 5 frames so far, or nearly 5, but he's barely put a foot wrong, and some of his snooker has been sublime. His positional play, his potting, his ability to open the reds, everything has been there tonight from O'Sullivan. He has
35.
looked unbeatable so far. 14 seconds a shot. That is seriously quick.
36.
Ding Junhui had the chance, missed the pink in trying to split the reds. Is he going to get another shot? It's looking unlikely.
43. $44.
And that average shot time is going down incredibly.
49. 50.
22 the lead, so this black and the final red, and it's going to be 4-1. It's just immaculate snooker. It does not get any better than this.
57. 58.
And O'Sullivan, ever the perfectionist, annoyed that he slightly overscrewed on the blue there, so was the wrong side of it. Not that it's going to make any difference. And for Ding, well,
63.
the first time that he's had the chance and missed when he was in.
65.
That'll be the frustration for him. But what a break again from O'Sullivan this has been.
68.
Not quite enough for a century this time.
72.
Just about had the legs to get there.
$83.
This is a dazzling performance from Ronnie O'Sullivan, even by his exalted standards. This is extra special, and Ding Junhui at the moment just can't live with it, as O'Sullivan increases his lead to 4 frames to 1 to put him within 2 of a final meeting with Judd Trump. Ding with it all to do. Another clinical visit to the table from Ronnie O'Sullivan. A break of 90 this time to punish Ding Junhui's miss pink when he was in first on 28. O'Sullivan pulling away to a 4-1 lead now, just 2 frames away from yet another ranking final. I guess the lion's share of this audience are rooting for O'Sullivan, but equally they want a close match. So plenty of encouragement for Ding, who is, of course, popular in his own right wherever he plays. He's an absolute superstar back home in China. No wonder he has been the #1, the trailblazer for Chinese snooker. He's won everything that matters, bar the World Championship. And that is a terrific long red from Ding this time. And he knows he's going to have to produce pretty much faultless snooker. And even then, it might not be nearly enough. The way O'Sullivan's playing with a 4-1 lead. Look at that live pot success, 97% from both of them. But, of course, O'Sullivan has been hogging the table. That was a good pot from Ding.
8.
But it looks like end of break.
Ding Junhui. 8.
chance for O'Sullivan to inflict more pain on that man.
One. Six. Seven. 14. 50. 22. 23. 30. 31. 38. 39.
He just doesn't look like missing. Everything is coming easily to O'Sullivan this evening. He spent his entire career making this incredibly
46.
difficult game look easy, but this has been a
47.
performance to savour so far tonight. And he's one more good positional shot. A split of the reds away from 5-1, and there is that shot. He's got the red into the centre by the looks of it, at the very least.
$53. 60.
You've got to feel a bit sorry for Ding, because he's done very little
61.
wrong this evening. He missed the pink in the previous frame. He's not missed very much, as you saw from those stats just now. It's just been O'Sullivan has been untouchable, really.
$68.
It's just too good.
69.
When O'Sullivan plays like this, he is on a different planet to everyone else.
$76.
This frame long since over already, and the speed at which
77.
this match is progressing is extraordinary. Actual playing time is not much more than an hour. And already
84.
6 frames have come and gone.
85. 92. 93.
And this black for a third century tonight. I'm struggling to remember the last time O'Sullivan played as well as this. He's been winning big titles without playing at his best, but tonight he has been at his best. And it's been a joy to watch.
Thanks. 101.
If Judd Trump is watching this, well, he'd be entitled to feel a little uncomfortable given the quality of O'Sullivan tonight. But of course we know he's capable of amazing snooker himself. So if indeed it is to be O'Sullivan against Trump, and Ding's not quite done yet, what a final we have on our hands tomorrow. In the meantime, O'Sullivan just looks completely imperious.
122. 128.
The black stays out, but almost everything else has gone in. This is a wonderful performance from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he's already a frame away from the World Grand Prix final. He is blitzing Ding Junhui to lead by 5 frames to 1 on the cusp of facing Judd Trump for the title on Sunday. Ding Junhui looking a little shell-shocked in his chair because it bears repeating he's done very little wrong. In fact, the frame he won was with a superb 85 break, but aside from missing a pink in the frame before last, he's been sitting in his chair just admiring the quite remarkable quality of Ronnie O'Sullivan's snooker this evening. For my money, this is his best performance for a few seasons. And that's saying something because there've been a number of them. But for the sheer quality of his snooker tonight, this ranks right up there with his very best. And now it's just a question of finishing the job. And there is another amazing pop from distance from O'Sullivan. He's making these look easy, as though the object ball is right over the pocket. He came out tonight determined to put on a show, it would seem, for this crowd, and boy, has he done so.
9.
And this time, for once, it's not gone to plan. Going into
14.
the reds, but not landing on one, so just a safety. A bit of light relief for Ding. Just to recap on the breaks from O'Sullivan tonight. A 135 total clearance to start. 128, 79, 90 and 128. And he's barely missed a ball in live play. And at the conclusion of this match, the actual playing time was, conclusion of the last frame, I should say, the actual playing time was 1 hour, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. So 6 completed frames in 63 minutes.
Thank you, that'll do. One. Six. Seven.
So in again with a chance to finish the job in style. It's very rare that you'll hear R.O'Sullivan in a post-match interview
11.
talk about how well he's played, but he's going to struggle this evening, I think, to say anything other than
12.
that this has been an exceptional performance. Assuming, of course, he goes on to win, as now seems highly likely. It's pretty clear that
19.
Ding Junhui, someone he respects and admires and enjoys the company of, brings out the best in him.
20.
This their 27th meeting. O'Sullivan's won 21 of the previous 26, and he's surely going to win this one as well. But it's not just the win, it's the manner in which he's doing it. Absolutely sensational.
25. 26.
And it already feels as though
34.
the only question remaining is he going to finish this match with a 4th century? Having also made breaks of 79 and 90 to go with those 3 tons.
41. 42. 49.
This red and another black. And incredibly, this match will already be over.
50.
Stand by for the roar. Poor old Ding Junhui, but there's nothing that he, or indeed anyone else on the snooker planet, could have done about a performance like this. It has been
57.
simply sublime.
58.
So much for your powers beginning to diminish in your late 40s. If anything, O'Sullivan seems to be getting better. This has certainly got to be his finest
65.
display of the season, and he's already won 3 big tournaments.
66.
He'll be going for a hat-trick of World Grand Prix titles tomorrow, in a final to savour against Judd Trump, the player of the season who's already
73.
won 3 ranking titles in this campaign. But even Trump
74.
is going to have his work cut out if O'Sullivan can produce anything like this form tomorrow. No guarantee he will, of course, but what a display we've seen.
81.
And now the crowd willing him on to a 4th century
82.
to seal the deal. And for Ding, well, he's just been caught in a maelstrom.
'89. '90. Thank you.
It's as though he's practicing on his table at home.
97.
This is a major semi-final.
99.
And this to set the seal on an evening this crowd will never forget. Incredible. You run out of adjectives for this man. Just when you think you've seen everything, he produces something even more amazing. And this truly has been an amazing display. He has blitzed one of the world's best, playing well in just over an hour, with a sumptuous display of break building and potting. You've got to be kidding. Ronnie O'Sullivan walks on water. That was out of this world. An unbelievable display. The crowd are on their feet. A standing ovation. A sensational victory for the 7 times champion of the world. Has he ever played better than that in a single match? He wins 6-1. Well, a performance to take the breath away. It's already done and dusted, and they've only been playing about an hour and 10 minutes or so. And for Ding Junhui, he must wonder what's hit him, but he knows he's seen something exceptional tonight, and that really was an incredible display from O'Sullivan. 4 centuries, 2 other big breaks, and a 6-1 victory. And of course, it means that he will play Judd Trump in his bid for a 41st ranking title in what will be his 63rd appearance in a ranking final. Well, while we catch our breath after that spectacular display, let's just remind ourselves of how our 2 finalists have got to the title match. For Ronnie O'Sullivan, a 5-1 win over Gary Wilson, and then touching new heights almost against Ding Junhui in winning 6-1 just now with 4 centuries. For Judd Trump, well, he's also looked superb this week, seeing off the great Mark Selby for the loss of only 1 frame, and then Chow Yu-Peng last night, the shootout finalist from this season, for the loss of only 2 frames. And so we have a heavyweight showdown indeed for the World Grand Prix title on Sunday over the best of 19 frames, the first to 10 to win the trophy and collect a cheque for £100,000. Judd Trump against Ronnie O'Sullivan, a repeat, of course, of the world final from a couple of seasons ago when O'Sullivan matched Stephen Hendry's tally of 7 at the Crucible Theatre. Trump will be gunning for revenge, but he'll be hoping that O'Sullivan doesn't play like that, because if he does, then even Trump will have his work cut out tomorrow. But who knows, tomorrow's a different day, and Trump will certainly back himself, because he has got the better of O'Sullivan many times in the past. It's going to be fascinating. The crowd have seen something extra special this evening. It didn't last very long, but while it did, it was brilliant. So we'll have a look back on some of the highlights, and there were many. In fact, you could just replay the entire match. The entire contest was one big highlight. And Ding Junhui did participate in that, in winning the 2nd frame in style. And at that stage, we thought, well, game on. This could be a really close match. Both are queuing well. This man had other ideas, but what a start to the evening. That screw shot was a taste of things to come. A 135 total clearance in the opening frame, and he never looked back.
122.
That set the tone. But Ding Junhui, to his credit, hit back superbly. He crafted a really excellent 85 break. Not a century, but trust me, it was top of the range, this contribution from Ding, because there were a number of difficult pots he had to negotiate. For large periods of the break, he wasn't in prime position for once, but he overcame all of that.
85.
to show that he wasn't phased by O'Sullivan's opening salvo. But that was as good as it got for him, because O'Sullivan then just went into overdrive. And you wondered, well, surely his level at some stage has got to drop. It didn't. If anything, it got better
21.
with each passing frame. Another century to put himself back in front. And that was just a taste of things to come.
128.
The crowd loving every minute of it. I mean, quite simply, you can't play any better than O'Sullivan has this evening. You just can't. It's as good as it gets.
79.
Only 79. Only 79 to win that frame. And take a 3-1 interval lead. And clearly at this stage, Ding Junhui wasn't out of it, but he just wasn't getting many opportunities at all. He did have one in this frame, and this proved to be significant, because had he been able to pop that pink and keep the break going, then who knows. 3-2, he's back in the match, but O'Sullivan once again was in the mood to punish, and did so by clearing the table. That blue just about dropping.
77. 83.
Not enough points for the century, but 90 will be more than enough for O'Sullivan to move to an even bigger lead, and within 2 of the final. And he was at it again in the next frame. Closing in on his 3rd century of the night.
128.
Another 128 break, his 2nd of the evening, and he finished with yet another century. What a shot that was, by the way. Just to underline the fact that tonight he could do no wrong. Incredible century clearance to finish, his 4th of the evening. A quite incredible display from Ronnie O'Sullivan, through by 6 frames to 1 to play Judd Trump in the World Grand Prix final. So that wraps up a very early night here at the Morningside Arena in Leicester. We've witnessed something extra special from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and we have the final to look forward to tomorrow. And what a match it promises to be. Judd Trump against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Can't wait. Best of 19 frames, 1st to 10 to pick up the trophy and a cheque for £100,000. We're on air from 2 o'clock CET for the first session, the deciding session from 8 o'clock. Do not miss it. It's going to be something.
The road to